What's good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts for your latest transfer news video. And it is looking like Chelsea will make a double Dutch announcement video. The deals for the two Dutch key players that we are looking at look like they may be getting over the line very soon. And we're going to cover all that in today's video. However, there is some nonsense that I do want to get through first. Throughout the transfer window, you're always going to get these rumours, these links that sort of come out of nowhere and nobody really understands why and how they have come about. And one of them in particular is the links to Cucurella to Saudi. Again, come out of nowhere. I think a journalist has been sat at home thinking, how can I piss someone off today and get some fan base riled up? And they've picked Chelsea in this instance and gone for Cucurella. Now, there was a little... I wouldn't even call it a rumour, just a little statement made after the Club World Cup that Cucurella was happy. He was happy with his wage packet. It wasn't looking at a move at all, which I thought was strange because he's not a player that's even been mentioned of a link, even in just a small amount. It's no question, nothing has gone on about him. And then suddenly now, Saudi are looking to try and prize him away from Chelsea. And we know they've got ridiculous amounts of money, so they will throw it about. But it's a nonsense link. There's no way this is going to happen. And we have had some reports on this today. So this is the latest on the Cucurella situation. Chelsea will not consider any offers for Marc Cucurella. So yeah, hopefully that is the end of that nonsense that we hear regarding Cucurella. It's not going to happen. The club would never consider. He's, our top left back, and at the moment our only left back. So it's inconceivable to think it's even an option. So I know it's difficult because when we look at our players, we look at the ownership, we think, everybody has a price, but there are going to be certain players within this team that they need to build around. And I think Cucurella is definitely one of them. So I don't expect him to leave, and I don't expect us to hear anything else on him for the remainder of the window. Now, if there was another player that there was a little rumour going about that a Premier League club could be interested in him, I'm not going to give this one much airtime. It's a player that I have very high hopes for, sort of the Reece James high hopes for, in Josh Achimpong. Looks like Bournemouth were sniffing around, potentially looking at bringing him in. Bournemouth have made quite a lot of sales, and they have lost Kirkez in this window, so they're going to be looking for reinforcements. They also lost their centre back in Dean Huijsen, so it's natural that they will be looking. But one thing, and that's all I'm going to say on this: Bournemouth, jog on. It ain't happening. Simple as. I think there's potential of a loan for Josh Achimpong, but I feel that he should stay around the first team and compete next season. We need cover. We need, defensive solidity. And though Reece James has done so well in the recent months, especially to the back end of the season, it's always going to play in my mind until I see like a full season of no injury or no long period out. And I think it's going to be very important to keep Achimpong around, because we can't just rely on Gusto, because then we're in the same situation as Cucurella, where we've only got one player that can play in that right-back role if we were to loan out Josh Achimpong and if Reece James was to get injured. So again, I'm not going to say anything more on that one because I don't see it happening, especially a sale. He's not leaving the club. And Bournemouth, as I said, jog on. Now, into the meat and potatoes of this video. We have had some updates on a few of the potential signings that Chelsea are looking at making, and one of them being Joao Hato. He has since been left out, or he himself has decided not to take part in a pre-season fixture that will be going ahead in a day or so because of the potential move to Chelsea. And this is quite a big indicator that a player is about to make a move. So this is the latest on Jorrel Hato. Chelsea closing in on a deal to sign Jorrel Hato from Ajax. Agreement between CFC and Ajax yet to be reached, but getting nearer. Compromise expected in the coming days on the price of 40 million euros. Personal terms in place for the 19-year-old Netherlands defender. This is a deal that I do expect to get over the line very soon, especially the fact that he has now decided not to take part in the upcoming preseason fixture, and players usually do this when they are trying to push a move. He's made it clear to the club that he wants to move to Chelsea, and obviously him taking part in the preseason fixture doesn't make much sense if he's not going to be part of the squad or part of the coach's plans moving into the up and coming season. Sometimes players do it to really force a move. Take the Victor Gyökeres situation at Arsenal. He was trying to force Sporting's hand and saying that he's not going to turn up for training, he's not going to be part of the squad and not playing. Now, this situation hasn't got that far, but Ajax do know that Jorrel Hato has made up his mind and he wants to move to Chelsea. So I do expect this to go through very soon. However, when it is completed, I don't think it's going to be announced straight away. I think they're going to wait for something. And this is what I think they're going to wait for. We have had some more updates on Xavi Simons. This is the latest on Simons. I understand Chelsea are preparing a formal offer for Xavi Simons following positive talks with Leipzig. Discussions have accelerated over the past few days. Then we also had this. Understand Chelsea and RB Leipzig are now in advanced talks for Xavi Simons. Negotiation club to club progressing well. Still work to do but heading in a positive direction. Xavi keen on the Chelsea project with personal terms also advanced. And I don't know, man, I've just got a feeling that these deals, the Jorrel Hato and the Xavi Simons deals, are going to be done at probably the same time. And I think we are going to get the double Dutch announcement. And I'm all for it. I do think these two players would fit really well into the squad. Hato will be a great backup for Cucurella and would also provide cover for Levi Colwill, which is not really taken into account. He is a player that can play left back and left centre back, and this is vital for Chelsea. I know we have Benoit Badiashile as a backup to Levi Colwill, but with the quality that Hato can provide to the squad, he would be an exceptional backup for both players, and he's only going to grow again. 19 years old, and he's getting to learn from one of the best left backs in the world and a young up-and-coming defender who, again, has been playing in the Premier League, has won the Conference League, has won the Club World Cup. So it's great experience to, imbued into this young 19-year-old, and he is a bit of a unit. So physically, I think he will match the demands of the Premier League. And then you've got the likes of Xavi Simons, who he just exudes quality. He has the ability on the ball that we want from a creative player. He's doesn't look like he's going to get pushed off the ball physically. We've seen him in games against Leipzig. I know it's the German league, it's not exactly as physical as the Premier League, but he's also come up on the international stage against England. And one of the things that sticks in my mind about Xavi Simons is when he knocked Declan Rice off the ball and then just put that ball in the top bins. Players like that can always produce those little moments of magic just out of absolutely nothing. We've already got one in our team, and we're lucky enough to have him in Cole Palmer, who can just produce that magic from nowhere. To have two players that could do that at any given point, at any time in a match, is going to be vital for Chelsea to go on and compete for the Champions League, to go on and compete for the Premier League. And he will fit into the squad. He has the ability to play as a 10. I know Maresca wants to try 2 10s out, but he can also play on the left wing, the right wing. He's versatile. Again, we're always going to be using that word with the transfers that we're going to be looking at going forward. Is the player coming in versatile? What positions can he play? And how can he change us stylistically? And Xavi Simons, again, can play on the left to play that wing, but can come in as a 10 to potentially break down those low block teams with more effective creativity, because having him and Palmer working together just in those pockets of spaces is going to be very difficult for other teams to defend. So it's, it would be exciting times. And I do think this is the deal that's going to get over the line. I think this could be the last attacking signing unless we see some more outgoings. Speaking of outgoings, we have had a player leave the club, agree a deal, medical been done. This is the latest on Joao Felix. Al Nassr agreed deal to sign Joao Felix from Chelsea. Here we go. Player authorised to fly for the medical and join Al Nassr. Initial transfer fee worth 30 million euros plus add-ons, a heavy sell-on clause to meet Chelsea's 50 million valuation in the future. Paperwork being prepared, and then we've had this. Joao Felix has completed his move to Al Nassr on a 2-year contract. Felix has already participated in his first training session. Only the club announcement remains. Can't say I'm too shocked about this one. Felix deal, it's a weird one. It's probably a deal that never should have happened. Only reason it happened was because of the Gallagher situation. There was no need for Felix in terms of the club's vision. Maresca didn't want him. It was clear that he didn't fit with the style that Pochettino was playing. That's why he didn't want to keep him. So all in all, it was a wasted transfer, wasted sort of experience for the player, and a wasted, transfer fee for the club. It does look like we're going to recuperate some of that money back. Now, in terms of the player, I think Felix is a good player. I do like Felix. I like the quality he has on the ball. He's not fit for the Premier League. I don't think he's physical enough. He doesn't produce any consistency with his football. He looks like he could light the world up, but he just never lives up to that expectation. And I think that he's found that with every move that he's made. He didn't do it at Barcelona, hasn't done it at Chelsea, didn't do it at Atletico, and they paid a hefty fee for him. It's just one of those what if players. What if he lived up to his potential? Now, I wish him all the best for the move to Saudi. I know Ronaldo had part, being Portuguese, his compatriot. I think he had a part to play in the move. It looked certain that he was going to make the move back to Benfica. It looked like that's the way that Felix was going to go. And then, sort of out of the blue, Saudi have come in and they've got their man very, very quickly. And as I said, it's just a matter of time before they announce the deal. But, as I said, wish him all the best. But it's not a player that I am sad to see leave, because it was just never going to work out at Chelsea, and it just is what it is. And we are now going to move on to hopefully bigger and better things and bring in players to fill in the gap that he was unable to fill. Now, moving elsewhere outside of Chelsea, there has been some movement in regard to a particular winger playing for Liverpool. It's been a talk of the transfer that he wanted to leave, and it looks like he has finally got his move. This is the latest on Luis Díaz. Luis Díaz arriving in Munich today and expected to undergo his Bayern medical on Tuesday. 70 million euros plus 5 million deal. Add-ons easy to achieve, meaning Liverpool consider all 75 million will be paid. Now, I think Liverpool fans have accepted that Luis Díaz was going to be on his way this summer. I think they accepted it quite a while ago. It's been the talk of most of the transfer window that he wanted to leave. I don't think he's particularly unhappy at the club. I just think he wants to try a new challenge, and the likes of the signings that the club are bringing in at the moment, there's probably not going to be much place in the squad for Diaz moving forward. Now, the sale of Diaz does open the door to another signing that Liverpool have had on the cards for quite a while. And I now am expecting this deal to go through, especially being that the player has now told Newcastle, yes, you know who I'm talking about, he has told them that he wants to leave. And that is Alexander Isak. I think it's nailed on now. I do see Liverpool making a bid to Newcastle this week for Isak, and I do think they are going to sign him. I don't think there's any other club really that can afford to purchase Isak. I know there was talks of Man United potentially going in for him. It's too expensive for them. There's no ways they could afford it. And if they tried, the package that Newcastle would want would not be split over about 20 years, which is the only way Man United would even be able to come close. I think they're valuing Isak at around £150 million. That's probably the bare minimum that they're going to take on this. So it's going to be a very expensive deal. He is a quality player. He is one of the top strikers in this league, and it is going to be a good signing for Liverpool, and he's going to make them even more lethal than they were last season. However, they do have to, bring him into the squad. Arne Slot now is going to, embed more of his style of football onto this Liverpool squad, because last season they sort of rode off the back of Jurgen Klopp's sort of style, his tactics, and he maybe tinkered with a few things, but nothing sort of so outlandish that the players would struggle to sort of catch on to. He kept it simple for the first season coming in, knowing that he couldn't change too much. And now he's won the Premier League, and now he's going to look to embed his own style and sort of push the players more. And he's getting in the players that he wants that fit his team and his style of football. And Isak is definitely one of those players that they have been looking at for a long time. So, yeah, I think with the sale of Diaz, this signing of Alexander Isak is going to happen. It's just a matter of when now. But, that is all from me, guys. We've covered quite a bit. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Joao Felix deal. Are you sad to see him go, or do you think this is, it was inevitable even when we signed him that he was going to leave eventually? And what do you think of the potential double Dutch announcement? Are you, excited to see these players, or would there be another signing that you would like to see instead? Love to know your thoughts if you can drop in the comments below. But for now, take care of yourself, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.